Alright, okay. What I want to say is what happened the last 2 days. Okay, I think we have not given press release for quite some time. And I think you need to know a kind of overall summary. What are the significant development the last 2-3 days? Okay. Now let me take through logically for you. Now, number one, we established 17 signatures in the soft copy, namely the scanned copy. The prosecution is relying on 11 in the statement of the witness, but we proved 17, but the 17 includes all the 11. All these 11 relate to transfer of fund using rentas. We have proven it comes from one signature of Datuk Subuh, which was lifted by someone and then used and reused 17 times. Okay? And we proved this by juxtaposition using the projector in court. And the witness was shocked that every single signature of his was in fact one signature. He does not even know from where it originated. The person who defrauded, or rather using fraud to transfer money, using the Datuk Subuh signature as one other signature, was obviously, as I've said, not very hardworking, not very inventive. He used only one, and that is lucky for us because that one we can prove to be used over and over and over again for 17 times. Now that shows to you, when MACC asked him, is this your signature? Of course his answer is yes. To a layman, is yes, because it is a photostat copy or a scanned copy. Because it is his signature. But it is not him who signed on that document, because it was lifted and put it by a process, mechanical process, 17 times. You understand? MACC should have confronted him. These are scanned copies. How do you know you signed? Okay? That's number one. Number two, MACC never asked him. For every scanned copy, there must be an original copy that you scan. There's only one document that you scan. That original copy, which we call the hard copy, must be exact mirror image of the scanned copy. But surprisingly, it is not a mirror image. The signatures of Subuh was different. Subuh realized this. These signatures are different. That's why, even after the election, the new government, when MACC called him, after he went to Indonesia and whatnot, 2 statements he said, these are not my signatures. I don't understand why they're so different. That is a truthful statement. 2 times, 28th of May 2018 and 30th of May 2018. He repeated that. Okay? In spite of MACC putting pressure on him, on the 2 days, he confirmed that. First time, the 7, he said it's not. The second time was a 3 document, he says not. And then he said all these documents are not his signatures. Okay? Which include the scanned copy, which includes the hard copy. Now, so then you wonder, how come after Najib was charged, he confirmed. After Najib was charged, he was called for another occasion, another 2 occasions. But on one of these occasions, he was not given the luxury of being in a hotel anymore. He was put in MACC headquarters, in a computer room where he was recorded. Why this is necessary for the MACC to do that, we'll have to ask the IO and whatnot. But on this occasion, surprisingly, he suddenly turned back and said, all these are his signatures. Alright? He said that. And then he came to court with a prepared statement. He said these are all his signatures. During cross-examination, you remember when I took him through with the projector, his jaw dropped because the signatures were proven to be duplicate, cut and paste. Okay, and then he was shocked that the hard copy were not mirror image. So I will tell you why it is not a mirror image. Yeah. In fact, we suggested it to him in court. So I'm not saying anything more. I'm summarizing it. When the bank was instructed, please transfer money urgently today. Effective date today, letter date today. Because of good relationship with the relationship manager, the bank said, okay, you fax it to me or you scan it to me by computer. You send it to me by email. So they sent it. The bank executed it. But the bank also wants the hard copy because they must have it. Most of the time, not most of the time, sometimes this hard copy came. Bank is also at fault, the M bank. But when this document, hard copy came, the bank was also blind not to see that the hard copy signature and the scanned copy signature, which should match 100%, did not match. Okay? So, when he was confronted with this issue for the first time, I'm shocked that MACC didn't show him this. He said, yeah, I agree. The hard copy and the scanned copy must match. And then when he saw, remember I told you some of the signatures on the hard copy were all fat boys, whereas his signature are not fat. They are not so rounded. And he agreed these are not his signatures. So you notice, in 2015, he was not shown much. This was recorded somewhere in Abu Dhabi. What document was shown or not shown, we don't know. He said, yeah, he signed all this without knowing much. First time after election, 2 occasions. He said these are not his signatures. He compared each one of them because he counted 11 and then he counted 3 and then he saw the rest, not his. Then after Najib was charged, for some reason they recalled him and they asked him and he suddenly changed and he said it is his. In court he maintained it is his, but during the last cross-examination he said these are not his. I don't think he has ever been taken through the process that I took him to. It's not something new. Most likely it is Nick Faisal who misled him, who in fact forged the documents. Okay? So Nick Faisal did all this defrauded the board of directors, defrauded the transfer documents. This is relevant, but it is only going to come on Monday when I take him on the last occasion. Why Nick Faisal wants him, if it is true, if what he says is true, Nick Faisal wants him to run away, you will hear this story on Monday. I'll provide the reason why, if it is true, why Nick Faisal wants him to run away. Okay? Now, then you come to the second part. As I've said, MACC never showed him all these discrepancies. You see, they are the investigating agencies. We are not. In my simple office, I can put all these documents. I can make comparison. In fact, as I said, you use tracing paper that standard 1 students do. You can already make the comparison and come to a conclusion. MACC didn't do that. Why they did not do that? I would like to wait for the answer. Okay. Now, then what troubles me is not only the last statement to MACC, the witness jumped back to the position that he signed, but the witness statement in court, drafted by the witness apparently with the help of MACC and DPPs, pretended as though he has never said something the reverse, like as though he has never said in his entire life that I have said it is not my statement. It is almost as squeaky clean, like this is the first time that I'm saying this. The last time also I said this, that these are my statements, and these are my signatures. So that gives you a different complexion from what we have established now. Okay. Then you notice we wanted the statement of the witness to be produced. Now the prosecution resisted. The prosecution resisted. This is important. In law, if there is such a thing, there are laws on this. We will submit on this. If there is such an occasion, the witness credibility has got some serious effect on what he said before. Normally, a prosecutor will stand up and say, yeah, we have got documents. He has said something differently, but he has come back to square one later on. So you leave it to the court to make the value judgment about his credibility. You cannot assume he's credible by not telling us or the court that he has made different statement before. Okay? But that one I can't comment very much because that will be a matter of submission, and maybe on Monday I will do something. Yeah? So when we compel, the court luckily agreed with us. You notice that in accordance with our hunch, the word is hunch, because we suspected he must have said something else. It is true enough. 2 occasions he said something else. Alright? Then we come to the other aspect, and this is interesting. How we establish many facts as well. One of the facts is that the establishment of 736 account was done secretly. The whole board never knew. When the board came into the board members came into the board, they were never told that a 736 account has already been established with different signatories. So they pretended to establish another account where board members were signatories. Straight away, you know, this is a scheme to defraud the company. Why a secret account? And board members do not know. Okay. Straight away, the culprit you begin to think is Nick Faisal, because he was a CEO. Why is Nick Faisal doing this to the board? And straight away you must ask, Nick Faisal auditing has cheated the board. You have misled the board. You have misled the board about the account, 736 account. Secret account, you don't tell the board. And then what is important is 2 billion come in, on the same day 2 billion left. In the secret account, not even in the official account that the board knows. So where the money went, nobody knows. Nobody knows. But it left without the board's permission, without the board's knowledge on both occasions. Now why is this very important? It shows that the management headed by Nick Faisal was defrauding the company. He may be working with somebody else, only you can guess. I can guess, quite intelligently, who are these rascals working with Nick Faisal. Okay. Then come to the next issue. This witness initially said, well, you know, we respect Nick Faisal. We listen to him because he's the CEO, powerful post. But that's not correct, isn't it? The most powerful position is the board of directors. As a board, you control the company because you are the alter ego of the company. You're the main organ of the company, not the CEO. Because you can actually sack the CEO. Yeah? But the only thing is you need the consent. If you want to put in senior management or director, you need consent of the emeritus advisor or the prime minister in this case. You need it. But you nevertheless have got, the board has got power of hiring and sacking. It is not the prime minister. You understand? Now, that scenario earlier I've given you, Nick Faisal doing all this defrauding, will bring you to a conclusion. Can Najib be involved in that defrauding scheme? Because this man misled the board by also saying, I got higher up instruction, you better listen. And none of these board members call Najib and say, hey, is this true? So Najib was left in the dark. He doesn't know what's going on, and we put this to the board. We put it to Ismi, we put it to Subo. They said they never did. And mind you, the previous witness, Ismi, was very close to the Prime Minister. He was Tabung Haji CEO. He sees the Prime Minister off and on. So what's the problem of you asking, boss, you know, in relation to this, did you ask us to do this through Nick Faisal? Nobody did. So how are you going to blame the Prime Minister or the emeritus advisor that he is in the know and he's part of the scheme to defraud. It is something completely unthinkable for you to even suggest that the Prime Minister, either as Prime Minister or Minister of Finance or Emeritus Advisor, could be involved in such forgery of signatures, defrauding the board of directors, and defrauding the board about the accounting, about the audited account. Remember? So that is the significance that we have established. Now, then you notice that there are a few other things. We have proven, therefore, the story about Faisal having the mountain behind him is but a figment of their imagination. Maybe an honest belief, because as I've said, it is not just a Malay culture, but more so with the Malay culture. But it's a Malaysian culture to guna nama, guna somebody's nama and say, hey, boss asked me to do this, when in fact the boss doesn't even know. So people get frightened. You pretend to take a picture with the Prime Minister and say, I'm close to the Prime Minister, this is what I can do. So these are all examples of guna nama. This is what happened here. If he can mislead the board, we are going to suggest he may very well have misled the Prime Minister too into saying that the board agreed. You understand? You play both. Through the board, you see the Prime Minister direct, people higher up, you're very vague. If the Prime Minister direct you, you should say, the PM says so. What are you talking about higher up? Who is the higher up? God. So, when he says that, you're already beginning to see something is not right. So, to the Prime Minister, he could go and say, the board has agreed. So, the Prime Minister would have said, okay, if the board agrees, why not? Because the board runs the company, not him. Under company law is the board responsibility. That brings me to 117. Very critical. 117 says this: the Prime Minister may be appointed on the board as emeritus advisor. Who appoints him? Not 117. 117 gives the power to appoint. It's the board. We have established there is no board minute that appointed the Prime Minister. That's number one. Number two, even if we assume like somehow or other the Prime Minister got appointed emeritus advisor, his role as advisor is not to overrule the board. He cannot. His role, because this is a government strategic company, like Petronas. Petronas is on energy, but dealing with oil. Remember? Petrol and things like that. But here is a strategic company about coal, uranium, and such like. Correct? So what can the Prime Minister do as emeritus advisor? Under 117, I must read this, which is what the witness tried to run away. Namely this: the PM as emeritus advisor, advising the board on material matters and matters of strategic interest to Malaysia. You must underline the word to Malaysia, because the company has got no business to consider Malaysian interest as a board member. As a board member, your interest is only to consider what is the company's interest. They can virtually say, hey, to hell with the country. We want to see that this company makes money. It's the interest of the company under company law, under section 132. The board of directors is only responsible to the company. But the Prime Minister sitting as emeritus advisor can tell them, can I advise you? Because you guys are a company under MKD, like Petronas, can I advise you? This is the national interest. Can you take that into consideration? He cannot impose his will if that advice is against the company's interest, because that is the call of the board, not the Prime Minister's call, either as MOF or as emeritus advisor. Yeah, and all these monies, went in and out before he was appointed emeritus advisor. So, what is the significant about emeritus advisor, the Prime Minister, MOF, apparently having total control over SRC is total red herring. If you examine the facts, this case is beginning to crumble, if not already crumbled. Okay, I thought I should give you that synopsis, a bit long, so that you understand the impact. On Monday, I'm doing some roundup to suggest to this witness all the areas where we already punch holes. Okay, maybe we can make the hole wider. Right? Yes, sorry.
Are you going to ask the witness why he changed his statement to MECC in August?
He's already answered. His answer was, now I'm giving the statement under cross-examination because now I'm better educated. Because you showed me, you demonstrated to me the differences. So I asked him, did MACC show you all this? He said no. And I said, if the MACC showed you the way I showed you, what would you have answered? I would have said this is not my signature. He said that.
Yes, but that one is why now he changed his mind again.
Correct.
Why he changed August than what he said in May.
He also answered that. He said, I do not know what they showed me. You remember I said, if you showed rubbish, the answer become rubbish. What document did you show to the witness? It's not recorded there. What document did you show? Did you show the 11 that I showed you? Because the 11 is the one relevant to this transaction. And the 11 is the one that projected on the screen. This is why the prosecution kept quiet, because I was not bluffing. I was not misleading. All 11 I showed every signature, I showed the hard copy. And he literally jaw dropped when he saw his signatures could not be his. Okay?
So your client, Sri Najib, he doesn't know, he's related with Nick Faisal. Can you tell me a little bit? He knows Nick Faisal.
I'm giving you a commentary of what transpired. So if you ask me that, I'm forced to answer something which does not happen yet. I can't do that.
Isn't what Article 117 says that his advice must be followed?
No.
No?
Read it.
No, nothing.
Nothing at all.
You only advise.
Advice.
It's not on the court to follow.
See, this is where you should get a document and read for yourself. Don't trust any lawyers. If you start trusting lawyers, that's where the problem starts. Lawyers include DBPs and everybody else, including MACC officers. You see what it says? The Prime Minister shall be appointed and hold office as advisor emeritus to the company. The advisor emeritus shall advise. He shall advise. That means he must advise. It doesn't mean that his advice must be followed. Okay? Shall advise the board on material matters and matters of strategic interest to Malaysia. And the board shall give due consideration only. Shall give due consideration and implement any advice of the advisor emeritus in the best interest of the company. So, no. You give consideration and then you implement it if it is in the best interest of the company. You see, interest of Malaysia is not equal to Malaysia interest of the company. You must understand that. Okay? The provision does not breach company law. It's the interpretation of some of these persons that I am amazed. You are a board of directors. You should know your duty. Your duty is only to the company.
So what is, can you simply say is what's being established right now is Nick Faisal played both sides?
Most probably that's what happened. In fact, in all likelihood, Nick Faisal, I don't think worked alone.
Did he dupe the Prime Minister as much as
It is most likely because if he's misrepresent the entire company. Now, you know, two directors of eminence. Tell me, if the Prime Minister wants to steal money from the company, why appoint people of great qualification? Ismi is a chartered accountant and experienced in 17 companies, 7 public listed companies. It's not a fool. Why put your MOF2, the Minister number 2, a person who was actually a merchant banker? He's no bloody fool. And why put Subu, a Harvard-trained fellow? I could have put somebody in it. Sekolah menengah mana ke? I put there. He wouldn't know a damn thing about running the company. I could have easily cheated the company make use of it. The rest, Roshidi and the other two guys, equally qualified. Shouldn't the Prime Minister have the right to say, I've appointed qualified people, eminent people, I therefore can rely on them? You are the board, not me.
Nazri, do you think that Subo's testimony can be the key to, to prove innocence of your client?
Yes. Yes. Subo has waiting. Subo testimony today. Whatever he says on Monday to the prosecution, if he jump back and all that, it makes no difference already. Because he has confirmed with us. And we give him every opportunity. Subo is a key witness. Now you know why. I don't want to impeach him. Impeach him means I cannot use any of his evidence. I want to use his evidence. Because he has now told us everything. Okay?
Tan Sri, where was the check and balance if you say that the board of directors were duped by Nick Faisal and Nick Faisal, who was the check and balance for?
The check and balance is Emeritus Advisor. You remember this witness? I was quite shocked actually. Not through this witness, we discovered this. We were quite shocked. The board has never invited Emeritus Advisor to come to a board meeting, not once. So Emeritus Advisor remained in the Prime Minister's office. His advice is only at the board. They never called him once. So you blame the Prime Minister for what? If you yourself never checked with him, never called him for a board meeting, who sets the agenda? It's the board.
There's no resolution about the appointment as well.
Nothing.
Then who appointed Nick Faisal?
Who appointed Nick Faisal? The board, the previous board, appointed Nick Faisal with the blessing of the Prime Minister. And mind you, who is Nick Faisal? Not an ordinary Joe. Nick Faisal is the grandson of the first Speaker of Parliament in Malaysia. The first local Speaker of Parliament in Malaysia by the name of Tan Sri Nick Kamen. A very eminent person, eminent family. Recommended highly to him by his political secretary. After a process, that's how he appointed the guy. The middleman, the missing link is missing. And there's a good reason why he's missing, isn't it? Okay. On Monday you will know why. I will suggest, I won't tell you now. I will tell you why Subo suggested that Nick Faisal asked him to run away. Okay, very interesting to tie up. Okay?
Alright.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you, Tan Sri.